Welcome back to the Pesky Report. This is episode 502 of the Pesky Report. First one of the minor league show, starting with the number 5. So that's a shout out to the entire group. We've had 500 episodes. 500th episode was a good one. Hunter, you were on it. Brought to you by Beyond the Monster. We have a decent amount to discuss this week. It's only going to be me and Hunter this week. Jake's enjoying himself on a little bit of a vacation / I don't even remember what the event was. What it's called.
It was a card event, right?
Yeah. Okay. Some sort of like card convention or event thing. I don't know what it's called, but we're hoping Jake is having fun. We will miss him, but that means we get the unlimited wrestling references this week. If we're laying the smackdown with the tag team action here. I will just mention before we get into everything here. On the day of the trade deadline, Jordan and I are doing a live stream. Plan is to start at 11 in the morning, run all the way through the 6 o'clock deadline. We did it last year, had some great guests, had a lot of fun. I'm not going to say what guests we do or don't have lined up, but we're excited for it. It's going to be another long one. Like I said, we're starting at 11 in the morning, deadline's at 6. We're going to run straight through it. Hopefully I can try and make it again without any bathroom breaks. But we'll see if my bladder will be able to handle that again. But with that, we're going to dive straight into this minor league talk now. A lot to talk about. We're going to run it straight down the line. Feels like we haven't done that in a while. And we're going to start in Worcester. And I think we should probably start with, I guess, what feels like the big story of at least the last couple of days, with Christian Campbell very much seemingly turning a corner. What are your thoughts on Christian Campbell over this past week or so, Hunter?
Very happy. Talked about it a little bit when we did the 500th episode with Carabas, which I have had a strange day. So I had like this migraine for like 72 hours that was killing me. Finally got over it at like 2 or like 3. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to go to the gym. Right when I got to the gym, I realized I hadn't sent out the link to the podcast yet. So I was like, crap, I'll do that when I get home. And then 5:30, I'm sitting in the sauna and I was like, wait, we do podcasts, because our 500th episode, we had Carabas on and we did it at 6:30. And I just completely forgot that we do these at 6. And I was like, crap, I got to get home. It's like a 20-minute drive. I got home just in time. I sent out the link to the podcast at like 6 o'clock. And I also want to say, I posted something on Twitter. I posted it on Instagram. Just like that joke apology about like, I said something during a podcast, and I even posted the clip with it. But I realized it really wasn't an issue on Twitter. I had some like weirdo racist bots on Twitter saying like, don't let them censor you. And I was like, oh God, they think I said something actually bad. And then I don't have any like motion on Instagram. That's just like friends and family, most of who are not Red Sox fans or don't follow the Section 10 podcast. So I had like 20 different people reach out to me and they were like, dude, what happened? What did you say? And I was like, oh, okay. Everybody thinks I did something terrible. Like, it's just a joke from the podcast that no one understood. But anyway, all of that to say, we talked about Campbell that day because he hit a home run. He had 2 home runs this week. He hit his first home run of the week on that day. And a super annoying thing I was getting was the amount of people in my comments saying like, oh, the swing sucks. Oh, he's terrible because he hit it to the opposite field. Oh, who cares? It was an opposite field homer. I don't care if he hits it dead center, pool. Yeah, it would be great to see him pull more stuff. I don't care where he hits it. If he's hitting at 103 miles an hour in a 400-foot home run, I don't care. I don't care if he never pulls another ball if he's hitting 40 home runs a year, all to the opposite side. Who cares? And then he had a 3-hit game the next day. Then he had a 3-hit game on, I think it was Sunday, with a pool home run and a 3-hit day with a pool home run. And it's incredible how quickly the vibes have shifted with Christian Campbell, where it was even fans were so hyped up about him and talking about how, like, oh, he's the best of the big three. He's the one I don't want to trade. Oh, like, there was all this stuff. A big part of it was that he was like the one right-handed hitter out of the group. And 2-3 months later, like, he had a ridiculously elite month in the majors, a terrible month in the majors, and then like a below average month in the majors. And somehow after that, it is switched so much to people saying, like, this guy's a AAA player. He's the next Bobby Dahlbeck. It's so absurd. And it's nice to see some people are still like, I haven't given up on him. Like, this was, like you said, this was a massive week for him. He came into the week hitting, hold on, I have to scroll down here. Or I shouldn't even say he came into the week. He entered July 19th hitting 186. Since then, he is on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 game hitting streak. The first 5 games were just 1 hits. Single, 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 homer, single, and then it was a 2-hit game, 3-hit game with a double, 3-hit game with a home run. So his last 3 games, that's 8 hits in 3 games. Very clearly, he's figured something out. A lot of people are pointing out that there looks to be a pretty significant difference for him pre-swing. And it's just us, Sox prospects, writers, anybody that like really pays attention to all of this. I don't think anybody ever had doubts that things would click for him again. It very much felt like, I mentioned it on the 500th episode, why I got suspended. I mentioned his swing being FUNKY. I won't say the word. Like, my point was, it didn't seem like things were off with most of what he was doing. It just kind of seemed like he really lost his confidence. I think getting sent down and being told, like, hey, like, you're also working on a new position. I don't think it helps that they have him playing first base 2 times a week, second base 2 times a week, DHing once. But like, he's trying to work on defense at a new position. He's trying to improve his defense at second still. And then just like that, I don't care who you are, that has to shake your confidence. Getting sent down after, again, like, he had such a ridiculous, he was rookie of the month in April. And then just that horrendous May. And it seems like he's starting to maybe slowly turn things around in June. And then they're like, hey, you're going down. So it really isn't shocking to me that he was probably messing with a lot of his own stuff. Just like pregame routine, just the confidence. I feel like a lot of things were off. And I said it on the 500th episode when he hit the home run. I said it feels like he just needs like that big swing and things will start clicking again. Maybe that home run was that big swing, because it seems like things are clicking. I am very much confident that he will factor into the major league team again this year, especially with Marcelo Meyer. No one knows how long he'll be out for. A big part of it will also be what they do with the trade deadline. I think if they don't get a first baseman, and then also pending on who they move, if Christian Campbell and Blaze Jordan are both still in the organization, I don't see a way where they're moving Christian Campbell. Christian Campbell's coming back up at some point. Blaze Jordan could be in the mix at some point at first base. He's been phenomenal, but I feel so much more confident about Christian Campbell now coming back up to the majors than I did literally just last week. Like, there was very much that he was hitting sub 200 in AAA going into this week. And he's up to 257, 390 on base, 406 slugging. So, and those numbers are just going to keep going up. It was great to see. And it really feels like he's going to position himself again, maybe as soon as post deadline. Maybe we see him back up August 1st or something, August 2nd, whatever it is. And that would I think that would breathe a lot of life into the team. I think that's one of those, like, it's not a trade acquisition, but it's still a move that will significantly help the team. I know a lot of fans won't want to hear that. The fans that saw him get sent down and then saw him struggle for 2 months. I mean, literally, he had that 3-hit game yesterday, and I had someone say, like, he's still hitting below his weight. And I had it typed out, and I've been trying to not respond to people, so I deleted it. But I was like, damn, if he's hitting below his weight, someone needs to get him on a diet, because, like, if he's over 257, like, they need to work on that. He's like 190 something. But I think we'll see Campbell very soon again. And he'll still probably get a couple games this week in AAA, and I wouldn't be shocked if we get a couple more multi-hit days. Kind of really just to solidify, like, hey, the swing's back. The defense might not be great, but I think if they have him playing first and second, there's a very easy way to meld him into both positions. I'd rather him be focusing on one spot, and I'd rather that spot be second. But if he's getting playing time at both, and the swing is back to producing, he is a massive boost to this team. So I'm looking forward to that, because I do think it's coming relatively soon.
Yeah, I think the thing with Campbell, more than anything, I do think, at least it feels like for this year, I mean, the first base options, unless Yandy Diaz is a legitimate option, which he is, but, like, he is under team control, so for at least another year, if not another 2 years. So do the Rays want to even trade him in division? Like, I'm not like the Rays and Red Sox have been, like, avoiding each other in terms of trading, but, like, the Red Sox definitely do need to make the best offer there, because if, at least from my perspective, if I'm the Rays and I get 2 offers from 2 teams that are very similar, one's from the Red Sox and one's from some random National League team, they're probably taking the one from the National League team if they're similar. So for the right, like, Campbell playing first base, I think very much, or at least having the versatility to be able to play first base helps, because Toro has been great as of late. And with, Marcelo Meyer not, who knows what his health status is as of right now, doesn't seem great. They're obviously being very hush-hush about it.
Yeah.
Considering the trade deadline's right around the corner, I think they want to have that leverage to where if he is out long-term,
yeah, you don't want teams knowing that he might be out for the year. You don't want teams knowing that, because then they're like, oh, you're desperate. Let's jack up the prices.
Yeah. But the Red Sox do have Romy also, too. Like, if Meyer is out, they might want Romy at second base more often. I know Rafael is there, but against lefties, you would assume Rafael is playing center field, which means, Romy's playing second. David Hamilton's not touching second base against lefty, or at least he shouldn't.
You do have a lot of options, though, that I do think help.
Yeah.
With that, like, desperation, even at first. Like, you have Campbell and Blaze Jordan in the minors, where if teams are like, hey, yes, Abraham Toro's not playing well, you need someone, the Red Sox could be like, well, we're not that desperate. We have these guys. And same with second base. You have Christian Campbell. You have David Hamilton. He's a good defender. He's fast, all that. You have Vaughn Grisham. Yeah. I know people have talked about how bad he's been against 95-plus fastballs. That doesn't bother me too much. Obviously, most people are not going to hit as well against faster fastballs. And in AAA, I wouldn't be shocked if that's not a lot of at-bats. Like, I feel like I'll watch a week of Worcester games, and the hardest someone will throw is like 93 against them. So that might be like a very limited sample size, which is crazy to me, because I feel like Worcester has like 6 guys that throw 100. So I don't know what everyone else in AAA is doing, but it always feels like the Red Sox have a ton of people in AAA that are pumping close to triple digits. But yeah, like, he is an option. He's playing a lot better. He's got a homer in 3 straight games. So none of them are the sexiest options outside of Christian Campbell. But they do have moves that I think they do have options that can keep teams from bending them over a barrel and taking everything from them.
That's true. I mean, I'm going to publicly state the idea that I've wanted for more than a month is I've been like, can the Red Sox just pull off a Brandon Lau trade? Just off a whim of like Brandon Lau. I mean, and my whim also too was I don't know if Yandy was going to be available, and Brandon Lau did play 96 innings at first base last year. Did put up 2 defensive runs saved in those 96 innings. Just saying, could be an option. An unorthodox one, but he also has not been good defensively at second base this year. So, I mean, like, the Rays don't need him at first base. You have Yandy Diaz and Jonathan Aranda. So, I will publicly, actually for once publicly state that I want Brandon Lau, even though, because I've been thinking about that for over a month. And Jason can back me up on that one. Because I got him, I think a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, he was like, yeah, I think I'm with you on the Brandon Lau train. But like that also too is because you have Christian, at least to me, that was also, you have Christian Campbell in AAA, and if they want him to stick at first base, like for the rest of this year, like, okay, Brandon Lau could maybe play some second base, and Meyer obviously could still play some second, could play some short. At the time, it was like, well, Bregman's hurt. We don't know when he's coming back. And then it was also, too, if Campbell wants to play, they want Campbell at second base, Lau can play some first base. Also, too, like, it was, too, like, well, what are they going to do with Campbell the rest of the year? Because who knows, right? You never know with or injuries, too. I mean, Marcelo Meyer, we just saw. Anyone can get injured any given day. So I was like, yeah, but like also too, to me, it kept the flexibility of Campbell playing first or second open to wherever they felt he was more comfortable, which I would assume would have been second base. But part of the reason they sent him down was, the bat wasn't doing well, but also too, he was struggling defensively. So I don't know. But he has definitely been turning it around, and it seems too that he's been getting more comfortable at first base, which is a big thing for the Red Sox, especially too when you start looking towards next year's team. And you can't bank on Tristan Casas just, being Tristan Casas, right? Like, his health is such a big question mark, where having Christian Campbell being able to play first base also helps the Red Sox going into next year, because if Casas isn't ready for the start of the year or just is struggling or isn't looking good, you can roll Christian Campbell out there. Whereas if Campbell was only at second base, you're kind of stuck with him there, and you still don't have a first baseman. So it helps the Red Sox in that sense, where they're not in a dire need to bring in a first baseman for next year. But even this year at the deadline, like you mentioned, Hunter, you're not like desperate for someone at first base or second base. The Red Sox very clearly believe in Christian Campbell. There's a reason he was on the opening day roster. They very clearly believe in him. So him, turning this corner is something where I think that they're going to look at it, and the Red Sox are going to look at it and go, this is more the Christian Campbell that, we know, right? And the one who, flew through the minor leagues last year and started off the season very hot, right? So I don't know if they would move him up like right after the deadline, just because I wouldn't be shocked if they're like, yeah, he's hot, but like we want to see maybe a little bit more of a prolonged stretch in terms of, from the 19, like the 8-game hit streak is good, but it's also, you could argue it's only 8 games. I definitely do. It definitely does look like he's turned a corner, right? So I'm not saying it's just 8 games, but that argument could be made. So I don't know if it'll be like right after the deadline or it could be a couple of weeks or whatever, but yeah, I agree with you in the terms of he'll be at the big league roster at some point this year. Other things in Worcester, I think we should probably touch if we want to kind of continue a little bit on the deadline route. Stinson Garcia is a name to watch just because the Red Sox have 50 million outfielders. I think they have 6 on the big league roster. So that a lot of outfielders. I think you could also technically, Romy Gonzalez has played some outfield in his professional baseball career, so you want to count that.
And Christian Campbell's played the outfield. I know he's not on the major league roster, but
David Hamilton.
Yeah.
You want to count him, make it 8, right? Let's us have a lot of people who can play outfield or who have at least played outfield on the big league roster. Now I need to check. Actually, has Connor Wong played an outfield inning?
I don't think so. I feel like he's only played like first and like an inning at second or something.
Well, I think he definitely got some third base run in the minors with the Dodgers, but I need to now check because this is gonna. Connor Wong has. Oh no, he got 2 innings in left field last year with the Red Sox. So if you want to count Connor Wong, you can field 9 guys who have at least 1 pro inning in the outfield on the Red Sox roster. So that's hilarious. I've totally forgot about Wong playing 2 innings in left field.
Abraham Toro has 1 inning in right field.
Make it 10. Make it
1
10.
career inning in 2022 with the Mariners. 1 inning in right field.
God. And then the Rangers wanted Trevor Story to play center field. So, I mean, yeah, this might go on for a while. We're not going through all this, but the point is the Red Sox have a lot of outfielders, and they also have a lot of guys who have played the outfield. Not that all those guys are going to play the outfield, but Stinson Garcia very much is, at least this year, very much kind of, I don't want to say excess, but like he's very much.
He is, though. He is.
As of right now, he is. As of right now, he is.
It annoys me because I really like him, and I would love to see Stinson Garcia and Johan Fran Garcia at Fenway together at some point. But it's really hard to justify, especially with the Red Sox apparently like losing interest in trading Duran. Like if they're not moving a major league guy, it's really well, as of right now. Like maybe they move people in the offseason, but if they're not moving a major league guy at the deadline, a major league outfielder at the deadline, it's really hard to see them not trading Stinson unless they're for whatever reason just not buying. If they're just not doing anything, which there would be an uproar if that were the case. That would be bad. But yeah, I
Alex Bregman has 3 2/3 innings in left field in his big league career.
And I mean, Garcia he had another good week, I should say. That's kind of commonplace for him. He's got a 5-game hitting streak. It includes a double. He had a 2-homer game on the same night. His younger brother hit a walk-off home run in Greenville, which was very cool. Literally his second home run and the walk-off home run were like seconds apart. He's been ridiculous since going to AAA. He was solid in AA. I know, obviously, than you see it with a lot of guys going up and just absolutely mashing there. But yeah, I feel like if they don't move Stinson Garcia now, people are going to be very confused because he is probably their best trade chip. Peyton Tolley is probably their best trade chip, but do not trade Peyton Tolley unless you're getting
you could also argue
stud in return for who's under contract.
Could also argue Arias, but kind of same point.
Yeah. Well, my argument for Garcia over Arias is that he's a top 100 prospect who a team could put in the major leagues right now.
That's
like
true.
With Arias, he's still kind of like that question mark of he's in high A. He struggled a little bit there.
There's also though a bunch of teams that have no future and will never have a future that might rather have someone in high A than someone.
Yeah, that's very fair. But
I'm looking at the Colorado Rockies.
I don't want anyone from the Rockies.
Well, yeah, but the Miami Marlins. I'm looking at them.
I've seen. I don't think the Marlins are going to trade. Man, they're all of a sudden like.
I don't think so either. But they're also the Marlins. We have to remember.
They are also the Marlins.
The Marlins. They just traded.
I've seen a lot of.
Rays.
I complained about it on the 500th episode. I think I've complained about it on here before. I would tweet out like a Stinson Garcia clip, and I would have people saying like, "Go get me Sandy Alcantara, King." If you're trading Stinson Garcia for Sandy Alcantara, I'm fighting someone because that's a terrible trade for the Red Sox. And now I've started to see it where people will like quote tweet a Stinson Garcia highlight and be like, "Are you seeing this at Rockies?" And I'm like, "Who the hell do you want from the Rockies?" Genuinely the worst team I've ever watched play baseball. Like, I don't want anyone on that team. Anyone. Like Hunter Goodman has had a good year. I don't want Hunter Goodman. because he plays for the Rockies. I refuse to believe he's an even semi-decent player. Like, it's just that's how bad they've been. I wouldn't want to trade with the Rockies. So that one's been making me laugh recently, is seeing multiple people ask the Rockies if they're seeing good prospects, and I'm like, no. Why are we tweeting this under a Franklin Arias clip? Like, that's absurd. But I feel like Garcia's their best trade piece, because I feel like any team would want him right now, because, again, top 100 guy, mashing in AAA, really good skill set, still super young, and any team that you're trading him, any team you're realistically trading him to, because it's not like the Cubs are selling, like the Cubs are buying, so you're not trading with the Cubs. Any team that would be selling would probably be more than happy to immediately throw him on their major league roster, or wait until the end of the year or until the start of next year for the extra service time. But he would immediately become their like most MLB ready prospect. It would be like a guarantee that at the latest next opening day he's on their roster, their starting center fielder or something.
Unless
I think he's a phenomenal trade piece, as much as it'll hurt to see him go. But if you
I will say, if the Rockies want to give us Charlie Condon for Yeston and Garcia, I'll take it.
I can't.
Wilder things have happened.
They're 50 games under 500. I don't want anyone in that organization.
But wilder things have happened. They're going to have a worse record than the White Sox did last year.
I'm just saying, though, I don't want anyone involved in that association. All they know is losing. Fair. They're 51 games under 500.
The Red Sox took Garrett Crochet from the White Sox after they had the worst.
Yeah, but even the White Sox were better than this.
That is true. That is true. But yeah, I guess the Rockies traded away their one half decent player already. So,
I'm preparing myself for that move,
yes.
And I just hope it's something worthy of Yestinson Garcia, because I think he's a really good trade chip. But also, again, you got to do something with the outfield. You already have too many outfielders, and apparently you're starting to think you shouldn't move any of them, which is absurd to me. I get it. Duran's been playing good lately, and you can't move. If you move Roman Anthony, you're stupid, and you can't move. If you move Cedric Rafaela, you're stupid, and it's really hard to move Willie Abreu with how good he's been. And then you got Yoshida and Ref Schneider just kind of there, but neither of them would get you anything big in return anyway. But it's like, I feel like there's such a logjam there, and it's not the worst thing in the world if they don't trade any of them, but it's going to bother me if they don't get the pieces they need. Like, if they come out of the deadline and they didn't get like a good starter or someone to play first base or whatever it is, and they're still just sitting there with all their outfielders, I'm like, you really should have made some kind of move there. Because, and I know that like apparently that Padres report was false or something. I don't know. It was like Alex Spear said it was false, but then he deleted saying it was false. But I agree with what most people have said. I'm so down on Ethan Salas, and it's the Padres' fault for how they've used him, and now he's hurt. But like, the guy hasn't hit 200 in the minors in 2 years. I know he's still very young.
The Padres are the Angels, except they rush them when they're 16, not when they're 21.
And the Padres at least win games in the majors, but
yeah.
But yeah, they still.
I will say, if they want to give us Leo DeVries,
give us him. Absolutely.
Like, I'll take that as a headliner. Like, he's a freak. I'll take him. But like keep Ethan Salas far, unless it's going to be a 3-team trade. Keep him far away. I
wouldn't even mind Ethan Salas. It's just like, I saw some people like, their top catching prospect and Dylan Cease for Duran, and it's like, Duran's worth more than that. I want them to get rid of an outfielder, but you can get better than a rental of a guy who's got a 4.5. And
the Phillies, I'll still take Andrew Painter.
That'd be phenomenal, man.
I'll speak that back into existence. So get back to speaking that.
Dombrowski has no issue trading prospects.
Oh, no issue. Maybe he'll give us Painter and Aiden Miller just because he's dumb. Sometimes, not all the time. I just said sometimes.
I think the move with Dombrowski is you get like a MLB ready type prospect like Painter, and then you also get like a really good low level prospect because he's just like, who gives a crap? Like, oh, the guy in high A who's not going to help for 3 years, yeah, take him, because that man, he puts together World Series contending teams, but he has zero foresight for the future. So
yes, I will say, people crap on the Chris Sale trade. Yoan Moncada was like real health, like a couple healthy seasons away from being a legitimate like perennial all-star. Like he had his 2019 and 2021 seasons were very good. People forget that about Yoan Moncada. I'm just bringing that up.
I was a big Moncada truther for a while there, where that was, like you said, like people were down on that move, and it was like, I don't know, man. Like, obviously it didn't work out because of the health issues, but yeah, like 2019, 5.1 WAR, 315 batting average, 25 homers. 2021 was a 4.1 WAR. 2020 obviously was the COVID year, so he didn't do great, but like that just sucks. And like even after that, he had a couple like he has moments.
He just can't stay healthy. He can't stay on the field.
Which is just it's upsetting because
apparently
he's shown those signs. He had a home run this year where everybody was like, my God, that swing, the sound off the bat. Like you can see why he was so.
Although I'm not gonna lie, I think at Angel Stadium, I don't know if it's just ESPN broadcast, because there was the same thing with the Shohei homer a few years ago. I don't know how much they turned those mics up.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
It is the cleanest.
It does always sound like home runs at Angel Stadium are nuts.
But I feel like specifically ESPN broadcasts are even more so. Like the Shohei homer a few years ago against the White Sox. Oh my goodness, that ball is like that might be the greatest.
Sounded like a genuine, it sounded like a genuine gunshot off his bat.
Gosh, absurd. Also, the Red Sox, like if they can't get a trade like with an MLB team, they could trade Justin Garcia to the Patriots and he can play like linebacker or something.
That's one of my favorite comments I get under his videos. Sometimes I still get the people like, what the hell was his name? And it's like, how do you not know this top 100 prospect in your own system? That's absurd. I'll see people that are like, there's no way.
He's got the Hanley Ramirez. He's almost got the Hanley Ramirez body when he came back to the Red Sox. But if like Hanley was still athletic like he was when he was 20.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's always my favorite comment is people are like, this dude's listed at 160, and I'm like, yeah, I know he's not even close to that anymore. They haven't. It's why I think that Justin Gonzalez is taller than 6'4". I think that they measure those guys like when they get into the system, and then they're just like, it's the minors who gives a crap. They'll just keep them at that height and wait until they get to the majors, and then we'll change stuff.
Yeah, no, it's not 160. If Yeltsin Garcia is 160, Pablo Sandoval is 500 pounds. No, Pablo Sandoval is on my 600-pound life. If Justin Garcia is 160, like there's no way, you know.
God,
if Justin Garcia is 160, Rafi Devers would have had his belt explode.
Yeah,
like Pablo Sandoval. He's not.
Shout out to my guy Sean. We always used to make MLB 2K franchises and then MLB The Show franchises. And Pablo Sandoval was like a staple on our team. Like Sean loved him. And it was from like a band that his dad liked. One time he came down into the basement and Pablo Sandoval was batting and he just goes, "Keeping yourself clean, Pablo." And we lost it. And then that became like a thing, is we would say it every time he came up to bat. So we loved him. So then when he went to the Red Sox, I was so jacked up. I was like, I texted Sean immediately. I was like, yo, the Red Sox got Pablo. This is awesome. And just, my God, what a disappointment. Like he didn't even need to be great. If he was just good and actually gave a crap and wasn't like liking naked pictures on Instagram mid-game and gaining weight. But like he did everything wrong here. And it's just so upsetting because I would have loved for him to be like one of those cool guys that came to the Red Sox and was awesome for 7 years, and fans still like Victorino was here for like 2 years and the fans absolutely love him. Like, why couldn't Pablo done that? Even like Hanley.
Shane Victorino bat hat on my wall.
There you go.
I will mention, Also, Pablo Sandoval's played 66 games this year for the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. He played 120 games for them last.
So, like, he clearly loves baseball. So I just don't get why he came to the Red Sox and didn't give a crap. Like, he's playing independent league. He doesn't need the money. He got
too much good food in Boston, maybe. Maybe it may have been the food. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe you just.
I don't know what
like
the San
lobster a
Francisco
little bit too
food
much.
scene is like, though. I don't know what the San Francisco food's like.
It can't be bad, man. Bay
It
Area.
can't be that bad.
There's going to be a lot of seafood, and anywhere that has seafood is good, in my opinion. So,
I mean, hey, at least he didn't go to like San Diego or something. He'd be eating tacos all day, probably. Tacos and burritos all day.
I've been to the Bahamas 3 times in my life. 3 separate years. I went twice with my friend's family and once with my aunt. And I think in the total of 3 weeks that I was there, I maybe had like one meal that wasn't seafood based. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was just seafood. And then one time, like me and my friend went to Johnny Rockets and got burgers because it was like in the area, but it was always seafood.
I mean, Pablo did play in the Mexican League in 2022.
Did he rake there? Because that's the league that freaking Robinson Cano
he
hit
did
like
not
530.
rake.
Oh no.
In 28 games with Monclova, he 243, 11, 356 was the slash line. Then he was with Tabasco for 43 games in 2022, and he hit 311, 396, 466. But overall, it was still a 732 OPS.
Again, still so confusing to me, though. Like, he doesn't need the money. He's clearly playing for the love of the game. Why did he hate it so much in Boston? I don't get it.
I mean, he went back that little like run after he went back to San Fran,
and he was good, decent.
Yeah,
at least. Not like elite,
decent. 108 games in 2019, 268, 313, 507, 820 OPS. It was a 138 OPS plus. No, sorry, that's 130. No, that's not OPS plus. That's total bases. Never mind. I'm stupid. I have it on the minor league and independent league stats. That's why I thought I'm used to the OPS plus being right next to the OPS on Baseball Reference. But still, like, an 820 OPS is still solid. Yeah. Although the next year he was garbage. I mean, he hit 14 homers that year in 108 games. That was the juice ball year. I mean, maybe that was what it was.
What year was that? 2018?
2019. It was the juice ball year.
Yeah, it was the juice ball year.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he hit 20 homers in 2000. Oh, that was in the minor leagues. He had 25 in 2009. But
yeah, he hit like 330 a couple years, didn't he? I don't have his numbers up, but didn't he have a couple like absurd?
315 in 2011, 330 in 2009. That was 345 in 41 games in his first year, but his good years
and he was like catching at that point too, because that was another thing is we could put him at catcher for the first couple seasons. They still had him as like that was his secondary in like the old 2K games. So we always had him and Jim Thome were the 2 non-Red Sox or Cubs that were staples on our team.
Yeah, although I will say the old MLB 2K games on the Wii. So my PlayStation doesn't take discs anymore.
Yeah.
So I whipped out my Wii and was playing MLB 2K. When you change someone's position, MLB 2K11.
Lincecum?
No, Roy Halladay was covered. Lincecum was 2K9.
2012?
No.
2012
was Verlander. Yeah, 2012 was Verlander.
Okay, that's right. 2012 was the last one, I think, right?
2013. 2012 was the last one for the Wii, I think.
Was 13 David Price?
I don't know because I don't have it. I know 2010 was Evan Longoria, though. Because that was it was
David Price, yep.
Yeah. I mean,
God, I miss those games so
much.
Rays the pitching was so fun in that game. The hitting with the stick, you could swing just up for contact. You could go down and up for power. God, I love it.
On the Wii. On the Wii, it's actually wild. You'd hold the Wii remote, and you also have the nunchuck, and you'd swing it down to hit, and if you you held B was a power swing, A was for like ground balls or whatever.
Could you swing like a normal swing?
No, you just like hit it down or whatever.
That's what I did in the Wii baseball, just like the Wii Sports baseball. I would do the full swing.
I'm grabbing the Wii remote right now.
I always got mad when people in Wii baseball would just like swing down, and I was like, "No, dude, get in your stance."
See, I do that for Wii Sports, but so you would hold if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see this. If you're not, oh well. But I will speak it. You'd hold the Wii remote. I held the Wii remote in my right hand, nunchuck in the left hand, and you go down to swing, and you hold the button on the back, which is the B button for power swing. You never use the A button because that's for a grounder. Why you'd want to hit a ground ball? I don't know.
Situational hitting, guy on third, no outs, bring him home.
That's when you hit a sac fly though. Like
guy on second, no outs, want to get him to third.
That's when you hit the ball off the monster.
No, I agree. I would never use that button.
The thing was, I always held B because if you needed to check swing, it was A and B. As you're swinging, you hit both of them to check your swing, right? So if I already had one of them pressed, right? Like I'm already halfway there. But then when you pitch, you had to point at the screen. You hold B, you go up to start the motion, and then the meter, the circle,
and you had to do whatever the shape was,
and then. No, so because so you would hold it up, and as the circle closes down to the green circle, so it was like a big red circle, then yellow, green, yellow, and then red in the middle. You wanted to get it in the green, so you hit it up and you hold the B button, and you hold it until it gets in the green one, and then you throw it almost like you're throwing it, and you go down with the Wii remote. So that was how you pitched. So you would like go up and then down.
This is making me want to pull out my MVP baseball games. Because I can't play the old MLB 2K games because they were on Xbox 360, and that thing broke every 5 minutes. I could play MVP baseball on my PlayStation 2.
There you go. What? We're 40 minutes in. We've talked about Christian
We've talked about Garcia. That's it. All right, Blaze Jordan.
Blaze Jordan. This week
he hit a homer on Sunday. Yeah. Had a couple of good games, right?
He just hit a home. Blaze Jordan hit a homer on Sunday.
He's slashing 304, 372, 495 between AA and AAA this year. 61 RBIs, which matches his total from last year. His career high, I think, was like 86 in 2023. Stolen 3 bases. The defense continues to be phenomenal. They're throwing him at first and third. He's looked very good at third base. But obviously with Christian Campbell there now, he's getting more third base run because they're focusing on getting Campbell multiple games a week there, which is cutting into his time, especially with Nathan Hickey also there, although it feels like Hickey's basically just DHing at this point. But Blaze Jordan kind of in the same boat as Yastinson Garcia. He has to be on the 40 next year. And at this point, someone is, if the Red Sox don't protect him, and also if he's still on the team, 1,000% a team is taking him and making him their first or third baseman, or just a bench guy who can play either. I feel like he's going to get traded because just based on like how they're acting, it feels like the Red Sox aren't super high on him, which is frustrating because he's put in the work. Like he's improved his body and his physical conditioning so much. He's having a breakout year. The power is back. The defense is great. He is such a good clutch hitter. He seems to always drive in runs when there's guys in scoring position, especially with 2 outs. And the Red Sox are prioritizing. So, and I get it. Christian Campbell's obviously the better prospect and stuff, but the Red Sox are prioritizing a lot before him. It feels like they brought Ryan Noda in. Nathan Hickey was getting time there, and then they're like, oh, we need a first base option. Let's have Christian Campbell start to play first base. And it's like, you have Blaze Jordan who's doing all the right things. So it really feels like he's getting moved at the deadline, which will suck. Good for him though, because I'd imagine he'll have a much better route to the majors on a different team, which is wild to say considering everybody keeps talking about how the Red Sox need a first baseman. But it really feels like the Red Sox aren't too worried about figuring out playing time for Blaze Jordan. I mean, he sat in AA so much longer than he should have. He kind of forced their hand with just becoming the best hitter in the world there. So if it takes all of that for them to just move him to AAA, and then even then they're still, I mean, he plays every day and he tends to hit near the middle of the lineup, but it feels like they're exploring as many other options as they can, and then he's kind of just like the break glass in case of emergency. So frustrating, but if he stays, that's awesome. I think he can genuinely be a very good major league bat for a long time, but I could also see him being someone that gets them a good rental or is a piece in a trade for a guy with a couple years of control or a bullpen arm, something. Maybe he's a piece if they do go after a catcher. They could probably do a 1-for-1 if it's the right team. But catching tends to be a position of a premium position to trade for. I mean, last year the Red Sox gave up like 37 prospects for Danny Jansen, and Danny Jansen was bad. So
maybe
we'll
Pablo
see what
Sandoval
they
can catch.
Yeah.
Maybe Kyle Schwarber. Sorry, we're gonna upset too many Red Sox fans by saying this now. Schwarber.
That would be hilarious if they brought back Schwarber and made him catch.
Actually, can they please not? Like, in all honesty, no offense, I kind of want Schwarber not to come back just so I can see more Red Sox fans cry about it on Twitter.
He's so good though. And I was someone that I will admit I was someone after he got traded. I was like, I like Schwarber and I think he's good, but like, he hits 212 and he has one good month and it boosts his numbers. And now he's just
the issue was JD opted into his contract.
Yeah, and then they also signed Yoshida.
As if they couldn't have. Well, no, Yoshida was the year after. But it's not like fair. They couldn't have traded JD Martinez. I mean, I don't know.
That's kind of like a loyalty thing, though. Like, not that he was here for super long.
Yeah, because the Red Sox are known for being a loyal team.
But he was so good, a massive part of a championship team. True. He was like a leader. He did all the right things. Everybody loved him. So that's one of those like hindsight things. Like, yeah, it would have been great to get out of that contract a year early, but
people would just moan and complain about everyone hitting left-handed, though. So there's always something. Always something. Oh, the Red Sox drafted Mikey Romero and Roman Anthony. All they hit left-handed, and now they keep Schwarber and Marcelo Meyer's still in the minor leagues, and he hits left-handed. And shut the up. And one day we will get an all-lefty lineup out of the Red Sox somehow, some way. It probably won't happen, but I think it would be hilarious. Other than that, Nate Ian drew 6 walks this week while having 2 doubles and a homer for 3 of his 7 hits. Vaughn Grissom had 3 homers this week. Nathan Hickey hit a homer. What else is there? We got
hitting wise or pitching wise?
Just hitting wise.
Okay, I don't think anything.
I think that's kind of it. I think that's Sebi Zavala had 2 home runs. Great. So, big league catching depth. There you go. Sebi Zavala.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. On the pitching side of things, I feel like we kind of want to talk deadline-ish. I mean, the Red Sox already acquired him in a trade, Kyle Harrison. I feel like we will be talking about at least a couple members of the Kyle Harrison trade. I just had a massive brain fart.
Rafael Devers.
Nope, the Kyle Harrison trade.
I couldn't tell if you genuinely just couldn't think Rafael Devers, so you threw in Harrison, or if you were.
No. I was gonna say the Kyle Harrison. I was like the Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, James Tibbs, Jose Bayo trade. But for whatever reason, I couldn't think of James Tibbs' first name. For whatever reason, I'm like Tibbs. I'm like, shit, what's his first name? Like, oh my god, what the hell? I'm just like,
But Harrison made 2 starts this week. One really encouraging and one not encouraging.
Yes,
and that's what we're going to get from him. They're working on pitches. They're working on grips. It's the same stuff we've talked about.
Yes.
But the first start, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. That's awesome. Second outing, 3 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs. Not terrible, but the 6 walks, really rough, 4 strikeouts. It's so hard to get too riled up about Kyle Harrison starts right now, because even when he looks phenomenal, it's like, yeah, this is a guy that looked decent enough in the majors. And then when he looks bad, it's like, well, yeah, they're working on pitches. They're working on grips. They're changing everything about his repertoire. So it's not shocking that he's having bad outings. So I don't know. I don't know if we're even going to see him this year. He could be a option as a starter down the line, especially with, Hunter Dobbins is out now, obviously. Cutter Crawford's out. Patrick Sandoval's apparently not coming back this year. So if they aren't making moves for starters, I think we see
they're going to
Harrison at
trade
some
for
point.
Shane Bieber per Robert Murray. They suppose that's the name he brought up today. I don't know.
I also saw something where it's like he needs at least 2 to 3 more rehab starts.
Yeah,
like best case scenario at that point, if the Red Sox trade for him, they're getting him mid-August, and then it's a guy that hasn't pitched for a year, and it's like, what are we doing?
I mean, I'll go back to Brandon Lau. I mean, the Red Sox. I was like, he'd also be fun because the Red Sox could probably get a somewhat discount because he's injured right now. And what happened if you want to bring up Kyle Schwarber, I mean,
yeah,
they traded Aldo Ramirez for him, which was probably a discount because Schwarber was injured. Then nothing against Aldo Ramirez, but like he basically never pitched again.
Looking back on that was a crazy trade by Heimblum.
Absurd.
Right? That was Heimblum, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's one I don't think he gets enough credit for because people get mad at him for not re-signing Schwarber. But it's like he traded for Kyle Schwarber and all he gave up was a reliever who did he pitch in the majors?
No, Aldo Ramirez pitched 10 innings after they traded him and was never seen again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And in high A as well.
He gave for a prospect who it's not even he was a really good prospect and he fizzled out. He was I don't even think he was top 30 in the Red Sox system.
I think Sox prospects had him in the top 10, but it wasn't
really Aldo Ramirez.
Well, he had a 2.03 ERA in Salem in 31 innings, in 21, and because he in 2019 in Salem he had a 3.94 ERA in 61 and 2/3 innings. Then in Salem he had a 2.03 in 31 innings, but he was injured when the Red Sox traded him to the Nationals. He went on to pitch 7 and 2/3 in rookie ball with an 8.22 ERA. Then he pitched, and that was in 2021. Then he didn't pitch again until 2024, where in 9 innings in rookie ball with the Nationals, he had a 10 ERA. He got 10 runs in 9 innings, 10 earned runs in 9 innings, and 12 runs total. And then he pitched in inning and 2/3 in winter ball in Mexico and isn't playing for anyone right now. Or he might just be
so
hurt.
He never even pitched above the FCL for Washington.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Absurd. That trade,
right. He topped out at 9 in the system, which is shocking to me. But still, this was a god-awful system.
in an injured pitcher as well. Aldo Ramirez was injured at the time of the trade.
Gilberto Jimenez, Connor Seabold, and Thaddeus Ward were 6, 7, and 8 when Ramirez was 9. This was
so bad.
A god-tier bad
miserable
minor league system at the time. He was probably a top 300 prospect in baseball. That's
probably, but still,
shocking to me that they got Kyle Schwarber for him straight.
I mean, hey, at least Connor Seabold made it to the big leagues.
He had a couple of decent starts, I think, for the Rockies. I feel bad. Any pitcher that gets traded
we wouldn't
to the Rockies
know. We wouldn't
so
know. He's with the Rays now. Actually, he's on their 40-man.
There you go, Connor. Good for him. I
Definitely
like him.
Doesn't have a 4-something ERA, I think, in AAA.
But yeah, outside of Harrison, the only other guy I had anything on was Giovanni Moran. 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 5 strikeouts, no walks. Another guy who I don't really think the Red Sox need to make a move for a reliever. I know on Twitter I joked about sweeping the Twins and getting John Duran on the trade or on the plane with them, which I would not be mad at. He's absurd. But I don't think that is going to be their top priority. They're going to focus on getting a starting pitcher, getting a first baseman, maybe figuring something out at second base, especially if Marcelo Meyer's out for long. But Giovanni Moran seems like the perfect kind of guy who, if they aren't making moves in the bullpen, he's someone that can help the team at some point this year. He's looked good in AAA. He had 1 really bad outing there, and then outside of that, he's been pretty phenomenal. So I would like to see him get a shot at some point this year, because to me it won't just be he's not just they're out of the playoffs, let's see what we have in Giovanni Moran. He's someone who they're making a playoff push. I think he could genuinely be a very nice addition to the bullpen for a stretch, especially with Greg Weissert and Brennan Bernardino basically not having arms at this point. So I would not be shocked if one or both of them at some point hit the IL, even if it's more of a phantom one, just to give them 10 days
Bernardino
off.
gets sent down.
You never know. Yeah. Yeah, like he has options. It's not like it's the worst thing in the world if they're just like, hey, go down to AAA, pitch like once in 10 days, get your arm feeling good again. We can come back up at some point. I feel like Giovanni Moran's a very
I wouldn't
be
against a reliever for the Red Sox. I just feel like if you're getting a reliever, at least let it be someone good, right? Like someone who's can go in the back end of the bullpen. Like Ryan Helsley's an option. Call up old friend Heim. Be like, hey, like, how you doing, Heim? Let's talk here. Talk to some of your old assistant GMs. Hopefully, you guys got along, and send one of them out there to St. Louis. Maybe have a drink, or something. Maybe get some wine or something, or champagne, or whatever people who I don't drink. I don't know. Whatever people drink, get something at a fancy establishment, and see if you can make a deal. I've also thought, David Bednar. What do the Pirates need him for? More so just because what are the Pirates? Also, too, Ben Cherington, another old friend. Get him on the phone. The Red Sox love trading with Ben Cherington.
They do.
They very much do. You can get him on the phone. Or considering they like trading with the White Sox a lot, but I don't know who the hell you'd want from their bullpen. But who knows? For me, it's like if you're getting a reliever, like it better be someone good because they do have options. Like Moran has big league experience. Also, too, like you need kind of a long reliever type. Cooper Criswell sticking around in AAA, or you're even a spot start, right? Which Cooper Criswell, he had a 5-inning start where he only gave up 2 hits and no runs, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. Just being what Cooper Criswell is, solid MLB depth. I feel like it's rude to Cooper Criswell to call him a quadruple A player because he is. I think it's rude because, I feel like sometimes when we call people quadruple A players, it's like, well, they were supposed to be good big leaguers, but they didn't pan out. I feel like there's sometimes a negative connotation calling them quadruple A players, whereas Cooper Criswell, no, we know what he is, but he's solid MLB depth, right? That's what he is. He's solid MLB depth. Key emphasis on the solid, right? He's not going to go. You call him up to the big leagues. He's not going to blow anyone. He's not going to blow anyone out of the water or anything. But he'll be fine, right? Nothing crazy, but he'll be fine, right? So he's that's a guy who's nice to have in Worcester. Other than that, Brian Mata had a clean 2 outings in terms of no runs, so that's nice. Only give him 1 hit. Did walk and hit a guy, but it's Brian Mata. I don't know really what to. We know what the issue with Brian Mata is. It's control and command. That's what it's always been, right? The stuff is MLB caliber. It's just can he get it over the plate consistently and locate over the plate. And then, I guess if we want to talk big league relief depth, Isaiah Campbell had pitched an inning, did walk and hit someone, but no hits, no runs. Another big league depth piece of big league depth there. As well as Campbell still on the 40-man too. I think he is, yeah. I think that's kind of a good stopping point. We're closing on the hour mark. We gotta get this on the road a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Portland. I want to kind of switch things up. Let's start on the pitching side of things. Hunter, I'll let you take it. Who do you want to start with?
Should we start with the promotions?
I feel like that's probably a good place to start.
So Connelly early technically didn't pitch this week. He threw an inning, didn't give up a run on Sunday, but the game got rained out, and they announced that they're not making up the game. I'm assuming they just don't have any more series against that team. I believe it was the Richmond Flying Squirrels. So that game doesn't count, which sucks because Ronald Rosario was also 1-for-1 with a 2-run homer. He's been absurd. I'll talk about him later, but that's really frustrating that doesn't count because not that it matters team wise. The team knows what he did and the team has other stats that they look at, but it's nice when trying to talk about prospects to be able to give people the respect that they deserve. But Connelly's last Double-A outing technically didn't even count. He got promoted, as did David Sandlin. About time for both of them. They've both been phenomenal this year, and Sandlin has really turned it on over the last couple months. He had a couple shaky outings near the start of the year. He was struggling to get out of like the fourth inning. And then things just really seemed to click for him this week. 4 innings. I know I just said but this was more a casualty of Portland having a stupid amount of pitchers, which finally they don't have to deal with as much. Where it seemed like almost everyone had to piggyback off someone else, which meant that people just weren't really going 6 innings because they had another starter that they had to get in there. But Sandlin went 4 innings, 4 runs, 1 hit, just walked 1 batter, struck out 4, and he's got 86 Ks, 27 walks in 82 and a third innings. Really intrigued to see how both of them do in AAA. Early's just been dominant. This is something that people have been begging for well over a month at this point. He is, I think, very clear-cut starter. Obviously, anyone's stuff will play a little better in the bullpen, but he has such a good mix as a starter. Lefty that throws a 96 mile an hour sinker. The off-speed stuff looks good, and we see him pretty consistently get through like 5-6 innings, which is phenomenal. David Sandlin's the one that interests me more because I don't know what they're going to do with him. I think he will be in the rotation to start, but he's someone who, first off, both of these guys are like textbook trade bait, especially Sandlin, because he needs to be on the 40-man next year. Connelly still has another year, so maybe they hold off on him unless that's like the part that moves a trade. And also, there's no reason to not have Sandlin on the 40-man next year, but also they're going to need to make tough decisions at some point. So maybe they're thinking, hey, if we can get a good piece for David Sandlin, that's awesome. But Sandlin very much feels like could be a starter, but also could be just utter filth out of the bullpen. And he could be someone that could help the bullpen this year. They have a couple guys like that who could end up being bullpen help this year. And Sandlin, he throws 100. He's got a breaking ball that really breaks off when it's feeling right. So if they get him out of the bullpen in Fenway, tell him to go out there for 1 inning every 2 or 3 nights and just throw as hard as you can, he could be absolutely dominant. So I'm interested to see how they treat him in AAA, because I'm assuming he's at least starting as a starter there. But I could see them transitioning him to a bullpen role and trying to get him up to help the team at some point this year.
Yeah, I do find it interesting where they're going to slot in AAA, just in terms of like they have Harrison in Worcester. You have Uberstein, Criswell, Coffey, and Stock. That's the 5-man rotation. I mean, I could see them moving Stock into like kind of like a bulk reliever type thing where he ends up piggybacking off of someone. And maybe they do that with like Uberstein too, maybe. But like with Harrison's going to start. Coffey feels like he's starting. He has to start as well. And then I would assume Early and Sandlin both. I mean, hey, maybe Sandlin piggybacks, right? Who knows? But I feel like someone like where they slot in this, like who doesn't start moving forward for Worcester, obviously with the deadline coming up, could maybe clear something out. But like, I don't know if it really does, because like if the Red Sox trade for a starter, does Fitz go back to Worcester, right? Like,
yeah, I feel like unless they're trading Sandlin or Early, I think the AAA situation's only going to get worse, because like you said, if they trade for a starter, someone's probably getting sent back down. You got to figure all that out. So yeah, it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, and it's like, I know some people might scream, "Oh, DFA Walker Buehler." I don't think it's just that simple though. Like, because if you DFA Buehler and he goes, then God forbid someone gets injured. Like, we've seen how many pitching injuries the Red Sox have had this year. Like, I
And
don't want
Bueller's
him.
made some good starts recently. Obviously, his last one wasn't great, but I mean, the start before that, me and Jordan talked about, it might have been his best start in a Red Sox uniform. It would be hard for them to just give him up for nothing unless they have a contingency plan.
Or unless the Dodgers want him back. I mean, rumor is they're shopping Dustin May. I mean, not like they need more starters, but like they have 50 million starters already. So, I don't know. Maybe they want him. They probably don't want him back at all. But yeah, Harrison, Uberstein, Criswell, Coffee, and Stock is the rotation right now, I'd assume. Stock probably, like I said, gets kind of into like a piggyback role of some type, or maybe even just bullpen, in all honesty. Who knows? And then probably Uberstein gets shifted to the bullpen if they want to stay with a 5-man rotation, which we'll see. If they want to go to a 6-man, then they wouldn't have to move him to the bullpen. But I think that'll be interesting to see what happens. And the other thing too, I don't know if we mentioned Hunter, but Sandlin start this week. He went 4 innings. Just gave 1 run as well. So I think the other kind of big piece to talk about, the guy who's virtually untouchable for the Red Sox, Peyton Tolley, 5 innings this week, just the 1 run, only 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Just we're getting to the point with Peyton Tolley where it's just ridiculous. I mean, it already has been ridiculous, but like even more ridiculous. It's just the thing with Tolley is it's not just like if Tolley was going out there and shut out this week, 1 run this week, shut out this week, but then like he'd give up like 6 runs in 1 start, and then caught another couple shutouts, but then he'd give up another like 5. Like it'd be like okay, but like there's inconsistency there where like the last it feels like a month and a half, 2 months almost. It feels like he's just been consistently like 4, 5, 6 innings. He's only giving up 1 run. Like feels like just start after start after start. You know he's going to go out there. You know he's going to look really good. He might give up 1 run, but he's not giving up anything more. It's the level of consistency from Tolley, I think, is, in my opinion, is the most impressive thing when you kind of consider it all. If you look at his last 1, 2, 3, 4. So all 5 of his starts in Portland, and then his last 2 starts with Greenville. So 7 consecutive starts, he's only given up 1 run. So just model of consistency. Those starts have been 5 innings, 6 innings, 5 innings, 4 innings, 5 innings, 4 innings, and 5 innings. So just relatively consistent there. Pitch-wise, his last 2 starts with Greenville, he was at 90 and 83. His first start with Portland was at 83. They pulled him back a little bit. It was 53 pitches. Then, although that game was out of the bullpen because he was piggybacking. Oh God, who was it? That was
Tanner Houck.
Yeah, I was about to say that was the Houck piggyback, right? So he only went 4 innings. He got a 4-inning save. And then he went 64 pitches, and then 70 pitches. So they've cut down on the pitches a little bit. I think that's a smart thing.
I know it was at one point like a 65 pitch limit. And again, I think it had to do with they had to do piggybacks. So they were like, hey, let's cut back on everyone's pitch count and get.
It's also a smart thing too, because like if he's throwing 90 pitches, like with the efficiency, he had 64 pitches and 5 innings on July 10th, 53 pitches and 4 innings on, in that piggyback outing. Like if he goes up to like 90 pitches like he did in his second to last Greenville start, you're looking at like potentially 7 or 8 innings potentially, right? And you don't really want to do that. So even with the piggyback, but even then, like it's still kind of a good idea. Also considering like with Tolley, it's not like he's just gone out and he's pitched 72 2/3 innings this year. The most he's pitched in a year is 85 2/3, right? And there's still 2 months of season left.
Yeah, he's definitely surpassing that.
Yeah, by far, right? He's probably going to throw more than 100 innings this year. So we're kind of looking. So I think in terms of when you kind of look at the big picture, like the even if he only goes 4 innings, it like I don't care. Like I know some people are like traditional starter, 5-6 innings at least. Like,
yeah, I've seen people get mad. I don't think it was Tolley. I forget who it was, but I've seen people get mad multiple times where I would put out a stat line and it was like in high A and someone threw like 4 2/3 and they were like, oh, they couldn't just let him get 5. No one in this organization is allowed to do. And I was like, dude, it's a prospect, man. Like, they don't give a crap about them going 5 innings. They have very hard pitch limits, and if they hit it or are about to hit it, that's the game for them. Like, it had nothing to do with they didn't trust him or whatever it is. This is a prospect. Like, we're not going to blow out his arm just to get him a chance at getting the win. They don't care.
I would be interested to see what happens. Let's say you have like a 65 pitch limit. You enter the at bat at like 58 pitches, and then you have one of those like 15 pitch at bats or something.
I mean, yeah, I think they're letting you finish the at bat at that point. But
yeah, but like what does it get to, like? I wonder, like, if it gets to the point, do they like pull a mid at bat just for like you're only supposed to throw 65. We're on the 16th pitch of the at bat, and you're at like 73 now. Like, what are we doing? Like, nah, come on, like, too bad. 3-2 count. You know what? We're bringing someone in from the bullpen. Like, they would probably just let him finish the batter anyways. I would.
But Tolley's it's how impressive he's been since going up to AA. I really feel like we're at the very least getting him a couple AAA looks at the end of the year. 1.96 ERA, 154 batting average against, 0.74 WHIP in 23 innings, 31 strikeouts, 5 walks. Like, he's just been so good since getting there. Again, we've talked about it a couple times. I could see him becoming a bullpen option at the end of the year for the Red Sox and like a September bullpen option. I think he would just be gross. But at the very least, I think we're getting, if they don't want to do that, we're going to get at least a couple AAA starts at the end of the year, kind of to line him up for maybe a potential opening day job if he can win it in spring training.
I will say with Tolley, it makes it even more impressive. You mentioned only the 5 walks in Portland. He's only walked 19 guys this year in 72 2/3 innings. Last year with TCU, he had 37 walks and 81 1/3 innings. That's still very impressive, but to cut down the walks even more, to what he has this year, like, just it's almost like he's just not walking anyone. The walk rate this year is 6.6%. Like, that's absurd. And he also has a 37.9 strikeout rate as well this year between the two levels. So, just absurd. And also, too, if you go, oh, well, he has a 196 ERA, is that, like, does that show the whole truth? It kind of does. He's got a 247 FIP in AA as well. So, it's not like this. You'll sometimes see some pitchers in the minor leagues where it's like their ERA, they get like a 220 ERA, but then they have like a 4-something FIP, and it's like, okay. And you kind of look at it a little bit differently then, especially too if it's someone where, not like Tolley, but let's say it's just like let's say like, I don't know, I look at someone in like, I don't know, what's some, like the Cincinnati Reds AA team or whatever it is. And this guy's got a 240 ERA, looks pretty good. And then you look and he's got like a 410 FIP, and it's like that's not as crazy as it, like, Tolley, like the like, even if you just look at the 196 ERA and go, is it really that good? Yeah, it's really that good. He's been stellar. I think we at least see him in AAA this year by the end of the year.
Yeah. And then the only other pitcher I have anything on, Hayden Mullins, 4 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. I feel bad for him because he continues to get buried. It's just the pitching in the system so ridiculous. It's hard to not lead off with Peyton Tolley every week or Connelly early, David Sandlin, Brandon Clark. Like, there's so many ridiculous arms. And then you have Hayden Mullins, 2.07 ERA, 157 batting average against, 98.98 WHIP in 14 outings, 13 starts between high A, AA, 77 strikeouts compared to just 27 walks and 61 innings. Like, he's just continuously dominated. But it seems like there's always someone in the week that overshadows him. And then you look at the numbers and it's like, outside of like Connelly early, Mullins has the best overall numbers in the system, and it feels like he's never the main topic of discussion. But he's another ridiculous left-handed arm who it could be something for the Red Sox, and I don't know what his trade potential or what his trade not potential, but value. There we go. Couldn't figure that word out. What his trade value is.
He's an interesting one.
Yeah, like it's not like teams care about rankings that much. They take scouts to games. They care about all the other stuff. So he's someone that I think could maybe shock people with how other teams view him, and he's also someone that I would very much like the Red Sox to hold on to, especially because if he's not someone that gets a shocking return, then it feels like you're buying or you're selling him at a point where he shouldn't be sold because he's better than he's probably being perceived.
Yeah, that's true. Unless there's a reason for where the Red Sox are like, oh no, we really, really like the guy we're getting back, and because that can't happen. Sometimes, a team makes a trade for someone. It's like they give up that much for him, and then it's like, and then the team's like, yeah, we really like this guy, and then it comes out, oh yeah, they were trying to get this guy, last year or the year before or whatever it was, and or like the Christian Vasquez trade where it was like, oh yeah, the Red Sox were trying to sign Willier when he was 17, right? Like some weird stuff like that where it's like, oh yeah, they really like Willier, and it's like, okay, like no, I'm not saying that people looked at the Vasquez trade as like why they get like what they didn't get anything more. Obviously, people were like for half a year. Once people got over the fact that they traded Vasquez, they realized, oh yeah, two like decent, pretty good looking prospects for half a year of Christian Vasquez, like once people got their minds cleared of holy crap, we just traded Christian Vasquez. I will also too just add in on like the Hayden Mullins thing too is like he doesn't get noticed like with the big names, but like also too like you start to think like, well, Sandlin and earlier going up to Worcester, Tolley maybe even at some point, and then you realize in about a month we might be seeing Luis Perales pitch again. Yeah, it just took on the Hayden Mullins being. I'm not against having the Hayden Mullins being underrated. I'm not against him being underrated at all. People want to doubt Hayden Mullins, go ahead. Just more for when he eventually makes it to the big leagues, hopefully, and can then just be like, yeah, the Red Sox have. Like, I mean, I'll just quickly go and say it. Like, Red Sox, what they have on the pitching side of things in the system is absurd. I recently actually just listened back to our first episode, and we talked about
like our first ever episode.
Yes,
oh, that was probably so bad.
Of the minor league show,
it was probably so bad.
Well, I won't say who was supervising us the entire time, but
against us.
No, I said who was supervising us the entire time.
Oh, that's right.
Hunter knows. But we were talking about the state of the system, and we're talking about some pitchers who are like underrated in the system, and like it's like a couple of guys where it's like we weren't like wrong on, but then there are a couple of guys and we're looking at and we're like they have this guy in the system who's like we talked about like Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. This is like 2 years ago. We're talking about Elmer Rodriguez Cruz having potential and this guy or that guy and whatever level it is. It's like holy crap! Like that's the pitching we were talking about. We were talking about like Wilkerman Gonzalez and Shane Drohan having a very bright future, and nothing against those guys, but we did talk a little bit about Luis Perales as well, and but like some of the names we brought up, and it was
crazy how quickly things change in minor league baseball.
Yes,
just because like some people don't progress, some people progress faster than they should. Everyone's traded, like.
Yes, I mean, you look at the pitching prospects in the system, and it's like just in April of 2023 for Sox prospects, it's like Brian Motto was 5th in the system, Perales was 8, Brandon Walter was 9. We talked about Brandon Walter a little bit. Shout out Brandon Walter; he's having a decent year actually with the Astros. We talked about Shane Drohan, Wilkerman Gonzalez, ERC, Chris Murphy, and then it's like the next guy, and then it's Luis Guerrero in the rankings, and then nothing against Zach Kelly. Shout out Zach Kelly. He was the 27th ranked prospect in the system. Like, even then, like Zach Kelly being like arguably a top 10 pitching prospect in the system when he's a pure reliever, is kind of crazy. Looking at it now, and you look at all the guys the Red Sox have, and
I think that's such a big boost to how good the system is, especially pitching wise.
It's absurd.
Is now it's almost impossible for me to justify putting a reliever in the top 30 because I'm like, but they're a reliever. And 2 years ago, I had like 5 relievers in my top 30, and now I'm like, really caps their potential, and the system's too good to do that.
It is absurd. Also, too, like when considering Roman Anthony isn't technically a prospect anymore, if you look at the Sox prospects rankings and you just avoid the fact that Roman Anthony is number 1 still, because he's graduating, you have Tolley, Perales, Clark, Valera, Early, and David Sandlin all in the top 10. If you take out, because Sandlin's 11, but like Roman Anthony is not technically a prospect anymore, so. And then also Myers in the big leagues, although Ramirez, shout out Mike Romero, friend of the show, he's 12. But then like even going like Jetix Paez, Tyler Uberstein, Yoiker Fajardo, shout out Hayden Mullins, Samuel Delzine, Blake Wehunt. I guess we can count Conrad Kaysen, I guess. Eduardo Rivera. You're not even like, where's the first reliever on? Like I don't know if there's even like a reliever in the top 60 right now, like legitimately. Like Alex Hoppe at 56. Like, is that your first? That's the first reliever, I think. Yeah, that's absurd. Red Sox went from having 2 relievers in the top 30 with Guerrero and Zach Kelly to none in the top 50. It just shows the state of the pitching in the state of the system, but also the state of the pitching in the system, where they have that many starting pitchers ahead of the first ranked reliever in the top 60. On relievers, though, real quickly, I will also bring up Jeremy Yellen had 3 innings. He did give up a run, but 3 innings, 2 strikeouts, no walks. Cooper Adams, 2 1/3, 2 hits, no runs. Jacob Webb, 2 1/3, 1 hit, no runs. And then Zach Bryant went 2 innings, 2 hits, but no runs as well. On the hitting side in Portland, Ronald Rosario had 3 hits this week. 2 of them were homers. I mean,
and again, I mentioned it before. He technically had a 4th hit. That was also a homer, but it was
yes
canceled. So
that is my copy. See that this is where the copy and paste gets me, because I've started just copying and pasting stats from MiLB.com.
Yeah.
Because writing them out takes way too damn long.
It does take way too long.
It used to take me over 2 hours, almost like 2 to 2.5 hours to write out my notes. Copy and paste, it takes me like half an hour.
But like on the year, 216, 289, 320, 7 doubles, 6 homers, 37 RBIs, really nice. The 37 RBI is nice, but like the rest of the stat line's not really moving anybody too much. But then you look in July, 378, 440, 622. He had the 2 homer game on Saturday. Obviously, he had the 1 at bat on Sunday. That was a homer that didn't count. But like it very much seems like he's figuring things out in Double-A. He was an intriguing catcher in High A. I was excited to see what he would do in Double-A this year. Obviously, his first taste of Double-A. Struggled very hard for a while. It's good to see the Red Sox have some form of catching depth in the minors. Like, I'm not saying he's an option this year or anything, but the catching in the minors is basically Johan Fran Garcia and then nothing. Brooks Brannon somewhat, but it's good to see Ronald Rosario kind of build that status back up to. He'll never be some elite prospect or anything, but just him being a warm body is nice. Like it's you have another guy who it's like, oh well, he might be something desperately needed at that position. very, 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 very easily their worst position in the organization. So having a month like this was desperately needed, not just for him, but for just the Red Sox as a whole.
I will just mention, I just thought, I was listening to that first episode. One of my big things I brought up when we were talking about Worcester, Bobby Specs. Bobby Dahlbeck with his glasses.
Classic. He hit a walk-off yesterday.
Yep. You know who the walk-off was off of? Hunters. So I read a tweet that said former Arizona standout Bobby Dahlbeck belted the 200th home run in his 10-year pro career last night. The walk-off 2-run play. Shout out Bobby, 200 home. I mean, that's good for him, obviously. Shout out. That's great. I don't know. Shout out Bobby Dahlbeck.
He feels like someone who's going to stick around for a while in the minors. At the very least, he's semi-decent major league depth. Like he hits home runs. He puts up really good numbers in AAA every year. Like I think he'll have a job for a very long time, which is nice. Good for him.
Good for him.
He did it's easy to forget that he was. Yeah, it's easy to forget that he was once the Red Sox, not only the Red Sox top prospect, but that he then came up and was very good for a season, basically. He hit 25 homers in a season, 2021.
Yeah.
There was excitement around him for a little bit.
The Kyle Schwarber's teaching him plate discipline, people, because Kyle Schwarber taught Bobby Dahlbeck plate discipline in 2 weeks. Because that's how it works. So shout out.
But that's all I had, AA wise. Yes. Not a great offensive week for them, which is sadly something that I feel like has been happening a decent amount.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely kind of been a little bit. I had something and I just totally lost. I had something I wanted to say. And I got sidetracked by Bobby Dahlbeck, and it's bothering me because I absolutely had something, and it was something about catching, and I don't know what it was. I totally forgot it. Well, that's fun. I don't know. Yes, high A. Talking about catchers, though, I guess we can at least move on to Greenville, where Juan Montero had a double. Catchers.
RBI double.
Garcia. Yeah, Johan Garcia had 2 homers. Catchers.
It's
shout out the catchers.
Yeah, and one of those 2 homers, I know we talked about it very briefly earlier, but one of those 2 homers was a walk-off.
Yep.
And then the other one, I believe, came yesterday on Sunday. Obviously, you guys will be hearing this Tuesday, but 236, 330, 360 slash line, nothing crazy, but he's still super young, coming off an injury. I didn't expect him to go there and just completely mash, but it seems like he's figuring things out. The power is starting to show up a little bit. I think we see him just continue to make small improvements as the year goes on. And it's one of those things where the overall numbers probably aren't going to be great, but I think looking beyond the numbers, there will be a lot of encouraging signs. I'm very excited to see what he can do the rest of the year. And again, a big part of me, obviously, I understand the need for trading Yastinson Garcia, but a big part of me wants to see the 2 brothers continue to thrive in the organization and get a chance in Boston together, because I think that would be, just the what was that, Wednesday night, Tuesday night, whenever that was just that was such a cool moment, having Yastinson Garcia have that ridiculous game, 3 hits, 2 homers, and then literally 45 seconds after he hits his second homer, Johan Fran Garcia hits a walk-off in high A. And it's that was cool. Imagine both of them on a major league roster together. And obviously the hype's really kind of died down for Garcia because of that injury, and he's just out for so long. And then he didn't. It's not like he came back and just lit the world on fire. But I still very much view him as obviously the Red Sox best chance at a long-term catching solution outside of Carlos Narvaez. But I still view him as a very legitimate catching prospect, like not just he's the Red Sox best chance. I view him as someone who should be taken very seriously as a catching prospect in baseball.
We don't think Ronaldo Hernandez should be taken seriously. So I needed a way to bring him up because I don't think we mentioned the fact that
we did not.
Shut up.
He is back in the system. It just, I don't hate him. Like he has power.
Yes.
He has a strong arm, but it's like, this is a guy who the last time he was on the roster was literally just listed at DH because he didn't play the field for a single inning his last year. They were completely out on him.
They had Alfaro catching.
Yeah, exactly. And they were more confident with Jorge Alfaro catching.
They were like, yes, they were confident that Jorge Alfaro was a good enough catcher that Ronaldo.
Jorge Uncle Rico Alfaro. Dude, just every time someone tried to steal on him, I swear he just wanted to show off how far he could throw a baseball. Like, oh, what, that guy's stealing third. I'm going to throw this into the 50th row of left field. It just, cool, dude. You have a good arm. It was, oh, man. I genuinely think that year hurt development of pitchers.
Oh, my God.
Because the catching in AAA was so bad. That that's such an important part to improving your pitching.
Talking to people about it too, about they're like, why are people sucking when they get AAA? I'm like, have you seen who's catching? Like, is that bad? Shout out to Ronaldo Hernandez though for being back.
Yeah, I think it's cool he's back in the system.
Both pieces of the Jeffrey Springs trade are back in the system.
Which I actually was just talking about this with someone today. I can't stand how angry people get at that trade. Jeffrey Springs was terrible, man. Jeffrey Springs was like on his fourth team already with like a career 8 ERA, and every Red Sox fan in the world wanted to shoot him into the sun. And they traded him for Ronaldo Hernandez and Nick Sogard, and then the Rays, who turned everyone into a good pitcher, turned him into a good pitcher, and now people are acting like they knew he was going to be a good pitcher. No, we all hated him. We all thought he was terrible. Like, it happens sometimes, man.
Oh, I remember what I was going to talk about, too. I just remembered. It's reminded me. Our first episode, we were talking about pitching in Worcester because they played their 3-game series to start the year. And some of the pitching we were talking about was like Frank Herman and Connor Siebold, and the fact that, AJ Politi was back in the system. And nothing against those guys, but you compare it to now, and it's like, it's, oh my God, the pitching was rough in the system.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, there are still some underrated, there are still some people who are having good years and were underrated, but not like this. Not like Peyton Tolley and they just drafted Kyson Witherspoon, and you get two kind of locked in 100 prospects, like top 100 prospects right there. Back to now that I finally remembered what I was. This is like a weekly thing. I get like lost at some point, like just totally forget what I wanted to say, and then just off into Narnia my brain goes. So back on track a little bit. Will Turner had 6 hits this week. A pair of doubles, 2 walks, just 1 strikeout, stolen base. Not a ton going on in Greenville this week.
I also had.
I just remembered the other thing I was going to bring up too, because this is Greenville related. I thought about it when we were talking about Portland, or when I brought up Bobby Dahlbeck, because I was like, oh, Bobby Dahlbeck would do better than Jazz Chisholm in the home run derby. They could have put Big Al in the home run derby.
They could have.
He would have had a hell of a lot more fun than Jazz Chisholm. Like,
I stand by my idea that I tweeted out. Throw in a random, not a good minor league player, not like everyone knows this guy.
Someone who just
throw in
nukes.
Throw in some random guy from like high A or double A or something who hits home runs.
Someone who's like
not a good prospect
of their town. Someone who's the roast beef of their town.
And have it be like so it was in where the hell was it this year? Atlanta. So pick a Braves prospect who's not known who hits home runs, and you're not taking out a spot from anyone. Just have him also in the Derby. I think that'd be so much fun. Just like, oh, here's this guy no one's ever heard of, and oh look, he just hit 23 homers in a round. And, everybody's going nuts.
Home run derby at Fenway Park. Here comes Albert Feliz.
He's so cool, and 90 people in the stadium would know who that is. And then by the end of it, hopefully they'd all love him if he puts on a good show.
The Red Sox would never be able to get rid of Albert Feliz. Actually, so can we please do that? Get an All-Star game at Fenway, get Albert Feliz in the home run derby, please.
But then Yophery Rodriguez
pitching at that point, like I don't care, just do it.
Yeah. Yophery Rodriguez had another good week, 2 multi-hit games. He's up to 231, 334, 359 with 6 doubles, 5 triples, 4 homers on the year, 31 RBI, 37 runs, 10 steals, continues to play really good defense. I'm more and more intrigued by him by the week. Obviously, when he first came over here, we were excited. He put together a good 2-3 week stretch and then just slumped super hard. Feels like he's figuring things out. Again, I keep stressing it, but it's important to remember this is a 19-year-old in his first taste of high A who had to switch teams. I don't want to say mid-year because it was like the second week of the season, but still mid-season he had to make a move. So it's not shocking that there were a ton of different reasons for him to have some growing pains. But just I'm a big fan of how he plays. I love the swing. The speed and defense combo is always going to play. So it's just exciting to see him turning things around and be a good trade piece. I know obviously Quinn Priester continues to put together pretty good starts for the Brewers, which is frustrating fans. They are turning on the trade very hard, but Yophery Rodriguez continues to improve. We'll talk about John Holobetz in a minute. Marcus Phillips was an awesome pickup. This very much has a chance to be a really good trade for the Red Sox in the long run.
And I know Phillips went underslot as well.
Yeah, I know it's hard to view it positively when the guy you gave up is pitching really well and you could use a starting pitcher. But also,
Mr. Ground Ball with
there's no guarantee he'd be doing this in Boston. We've seen players struggle in one place and do good in another. And then the only other guy I had hitting wise, Nelly Taylor, handful of absurd defensive plays this week. He had a diving catch in center that friend of the show, Liam Carroll, tweeted 2% on. I'm assuming that means there was a 2% catch probability on it. Just an absurd play. Go seek it out if you can. He had another play the next night running to right. He was in right field. And he caught a ball in foul territory, almost crashed into the wall. He was going full speed the whole time. Just a very impressive catch. He had 3 hits, 4 walks in the series. He's just one of those guys who, even when he's not crushing it with the bat, he's going to get on base. He's going to work counts. And that's just such an important part, especially in the minors. All these guys are on pitch counts. Nelly Taylor is not letting them leave an at bat without working 5-6 pitches. So that's phenomenal. And he's got 27 steals on the year. He's super fast. It plays elite defense. Just like I said with Rodriguez, that's always going to play.
I'll also add Quinn Priester doesn't really have to pitch against the AL East. Also that. I think people forget that.
I know the other week we were talking his best start was against the Rockies. Cool. And he went up against the Marlins and the Nationals. And then he had that big start against the Dodgers and everybody was like, oh, there it is. Dodgers offense kind of sucks right now. We just saw them in Boston. Dodgers offense is kind of bad. Obviously they have a bunch of ridiculous names, but they've been bad. I mean, they're slumping very hard at the moment. I feel bad because I feel like this is the third time in a couple weeks where we've come on here and tried to crap on Quinn Priester. But
I'm not crapping on him, but it helps when you don't have to face Aaron Judge 3 times a game. It would help anyone if you don't have to face Aaron Judge 3 times a day. Anyone who's playing the Yankees in the next 10 days is probably thanking whatever god they believe in and losing their minds because enjoy because they don't have to face Aaron Judge 3 times a game.
Yeah,
his last the odds you get out of a series without giving up at least an extra base hit to Aaron Judge are minimal.
Yeah, and his last 5 starts, it was Rockies, Marlins, Nationals, Dodgers, who that was a ridiculously good start. But again, Dodgers have been slumping super hard. And then the Mariners without Cal Raleigh. I'm not super moved yet.
Lucky.
I'm not super moved yet. He had 2 elite starts in there against the Rockies and the Dodgers.
And the Mariners suck without Kyle Raleigh. So
Mariners and Nationals, he was good. But neither of those offenses are good, especially without Cal. Well, with Cal Raleigh is a different story. But Marlins, he did not pitch well, and then the start before that, he got shelled by the Twins, who are a bad offense. It feels
although the
very
Twins
much
are
like
streaky, I will give the Twins being streaky. That's the one thing I will give them. They might be the streakiest team in baseball, but which the Red Sox are actually playing. So.
Yeah, and they better. I need them to feast this series. The Twins are selling. They've already started selling.
The Twins technically don't have a set starting pitcher for the next 2 games after tonight. Although I'm assuming Ober's pitching on Wednesday, but he's coming off the injured list. But because he's not on the active roster, they just said he's expected to start at some point this week. But to keep the other guys on schedule, unless they want to push everyone back a day plus the Thursday off day. So they'd have to push everyone back 2 days to have Ober pitch on Friday. So I'm assuming he's pitching Wednesday against the Red Sox. But if not, then I have no clue who's pitching Tuesday and Wednesday for the Twins. And honestly, that's fine by me. With that, though, let's move to the pitching side of things.
Indeed.
Holobetz, obviously, the 5 you mentioned him because the Priester trade. 5 2/3 innings. Did give up 7 hits, but only the 1 run, 5 strikeouts, no walks. He's been very solid since coming over. He's someone who kind of was like just the add-in, I guess, of the trade, if you want to say. But he's done a lot better than just being an add-in, right? You can look at that trade and very much see the Red Sox got 3 legitimate pieces out of the trade. Obviously, you would still take the other 2 guys over him if you could only pick like 2 of the 3, but he's still been solid, and I think it's a good thing for the Red Sox because just adding on the value that you got for Priester. Obviously, once Priester's gone and those guys are here, it's not like, oh, well, we got more for Priester. It's more you're more just looking at his development in general. But
Holobetz. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he has been good, and it's a nice thing to see. Like I said, considering he was
like you said, he was kind of like the throw. He was the player. He was literally the player to be named later. Mm-hmm. And then people were pretty surprised that he was the player to be named later because that was a good player to be named later. Like it's not like he's some god tier prospect.
Michael Brantley was a player to be named later though.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's not impossible.
But yeah, just another really good start in 11 games, 10 starts with Greenville. He's got a 3.12 ERA, 2.73 batting average against, 121 WHIP. The big thing, 59 strikeouts compared to just 8 walks in 57 2/3 innings. That will play basically anywhere. Genuinely very excited about him. He seems like one of those guys. He kind of gives me the Hayden Mullins vibes where he's going to go out there and give you just a ton of good starts and normally fly under the radar. I think he'll be a little bit more on people's radar because he was part of the Quinn Priester trade. And people are desperate for the prospects to play good. Trevor Story just made an absurd jumping catch. I think that is going to put him more on people's scopes, but I still think he's never going to be seen as like the guy. Like even with him having that standing, people are still more inclined to talk about Peyton Tolley, to talk about Brandon Clark, to talk about Connelly Early, to talk about David Sandlin. So he's still going to get overshadowed by the end of the week unless he puts out just like the most absurd start. And then, I mean, the Red Sox have more guys coming in. Most of them probably aren't pitching this year, the guys that they drafted. But next year, there's going to be more names taking up the big headlines. But it feels like Holobetz is just going to keep going out there and putting together really good starts and quietly climb up the ladder. And before anyone knows it, he's a guy who's getting promoted to AAA, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is someone that could help this year. This is someone that could help opening day next year." Like he's going to be quietly moving through the system, and I think he's going to surprise people when all of a sudden he's a name being talked about as major league help. Not that I'm not saying that's happening this year; it's 100% not happening this year. But I think it'll surprise people when all of a sudden that's a genuine situation.
I can't wait for next year's draft when the Red Sox get some other pitcher who drops to them at whatever wacky ass pick because other teams are stupid. No, they're not stupid. There's just just keep letting the Red Sox get those guys. Would be funny.
And then the only other pitcher I had anything for in high A, Manuel Medina, 4 scoreless innings out of the bullpen this week, 3 hits, didn't walk anyone, struck out 6. Numbers weren't phenomenal in single A. He had a couple like blow up outings, but he's been fantastic in 6 outings for Greenville. 2.25 ERA, 211 batting average against, 0.81 whip, 16 strikeouts in 16 innings, just 1 walk. That's really good to see out of any bullpen arm, especially in the Red Sox system, where I feel like a lot of their bullpen guys, that tends to be the big issue is, oh, well, the stuff's electric. They get a lot of strikeouts, but the walks are absurd. And that has been the exact opposite of a problem for him. Just a really intriguing coming into the year. He was like older for single A, but he had been like flipping between single A and the FCL for the Marlins. And now he's moving up for the Red Sox, and really electric stuff. And it's good to see him putting that electric stuff in the zone.
Yeah. It's not really a ton. I mean, Austin Ehrlicher had 3 1/3 innings. No hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts. Did walk 3. So walk out 3. Yeah. There wasn't really a ton else, it looks like. So
I had stuff about him, and then I completely forgot to write him down. Thank you.
Jonathan Brand had 2 innings and 2 appearances, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, no hits, no runs. So a couple of nice little bullpen performances there as well. But with that, I think we should kind of get the road on to Salem. And there is I literally counted this earlier, and I already forgot. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 players in Salem with 5 hits or more this week. Those were from top to bottom: Starlin Nunez, Justin Gonzalez, Kareem Ayubi, Ysander Asensio, Nathaniel Uton, Yoel Cespedes, and Diazakar. And start with the one who had a homer in Starlin Nunez. He had 9 hits this week, 2 doubles, 2 triples, and a homer. 3 RBIs, no walks, but also no strikeouts for him this week. 429 average, 429 on base this week, which I found a little bit funny. Also to an 857 slug, which is very close to being double his average and on base. I think it was like literally 0.001 off, if I'm doing the math in my head correctly, which I think I am. So almost a really cool stat line from Starlin Nunez. But still, the 2 doubles, 2 triples, really, really nice week for him. And Salem's now starting. I don't want to say I don't know if reinforcements is the right word, but they're starting to kind of get guys in from the FCL. You look at D'Angelo Ortiz getting moved up to Salem, but Starlin Nunez sitting 250 this year. He's got 13 doubles now and 6 triples, also 6 homers. He's just having a very overall solid year. So
yeah.
And I know Slash Prospects has him listed as the shortstop of the team. Now with D'Angelo Ortiz being at third and Cespedes at second, which I think makes sense. I think Cespedes, once he kind of, with Arias being the shortstop this year, I think Cespedes is kind of... Also, Cespedes, like, I think I said it earlier this year or at some point. I mean, Cespedes is 5'8". Like,
yeah.
Nothing against anyone who's 5'8". I'm sorry, you're not going to be a shortstop.
He's a stocky dude, yeah.
Yes, he's also a stocky 5'8" as well. So, yeah, being a shortstop at that size is not likely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
3 multi-hit games for Nunez this week, up to a 250 average. He's a electric player. He's one of those guys who I feel like his prospect stock has really fluctuated at times. But he's at the very least, always going to be entertaining. I think he'll have like some big runs in him where fans start to get really excited, especially as he moves up through the system. I could see him being someone who puts together like a ridiculous month in Double-A at some point, and fans are like, "Oh wow, this guy's legit." And that's not me saying he's not legit. That's not me saying he is legit. I just think he's going to be one of those, like, I don't want to say polarizing prospects, because I don't think he'll ever have like the motion to be someone who, although no, actually, I will say a polarizing prospect, because I think some people will view him very highly and other people will be kind of out on him. But I could see him having a very strange minor league career. I could see him either becoming like some superstar prospect, fizzling out, whatever it is, but he is always going to be super exciting, which is, again, it's something you need. You need guys in your system. Not everyone's going to reach the majors. And I'm not saying he won't. He's very young and he's putting together a very good season at a place that is hard to hit at. But I think the Red Sox have needed offense in Salem all year. And he is one of the guys who has, I don't want to say consistently, because most people have been pretty streaky there, but he has been someone who consistently seems to give them a spark at some point, which is nice. And then you mentioned Yoenis Cespedes. He's on a 9-game hitting streak right now. Like, the numbers overall aren't great: 227, 279, 364. But I've mentioned it a couple times in the past. He feels like someone who's not been helped by being in Salem. He's had like strikeout problems. He doesn't walk a ton, but when he does make contact, he tends to hit it very hard. And he's had quite a few like flyouts or hits off the wall, which, like, yeah, that's still a hit. But if he was somewhere else, it would probably have been a home run. I feel like people are down on him. He at one point was a higher rated prospect than Franklin Arias last year. It would not long ago he was a higher rated prospect than Franklin Arias. He got the call up to Single A before him, and then obviously got hurt and ended up not playing a game in Single A all of last year. And then that's when Arias ended up moving up and being phenomenal and flying past him. And Cespedes, it really hasn't like lit the world on fire, but he's had a couple nice streaks. This is one of them. I'm hoping it's something that can help him turn things around. Still crazy young. Someone who I think, if he's still in the system after the trade deadline, could absolutely build his stock back up and become a legitimate guy by the end of the year. I'm still very on the Yoenis Cespedes trade train. I know it's very streaky with him, but again, that's just kind of the life of playing in Salem, especially with this lineup having a lot of guys who don't hit very well. I feel like that hurts the guys at the top of the lineup when your top 3 or 4 guys are decent, and then everybody else is hitting 170. That really kind of makes it easier for teams to work around you. But that also makes it just as nice to see someone like Justin Gonzalez continue to be awesome. Like, this is a guy, 18 years old, played one game in the FCL this year. I still think that's hilarious that they did that. He went 0 for 4 in that game, and they were like, "Yep, we've seen enough. Go to Single A." 3 multi-hit games this week: 277, 370, 373 slash line, 11 doubles, 2 triples, 2 homers since being promoted to Single A. He's stolen 10 bases, which is nice. It's good to see him move with how big he is. It's not like he's crazy athletic or anything, but he's very athletic for his size, which is important because he's probably going to still grow. And even if he doesn't get any taller, he'll probably fill out more, which means he'll probably lose some of that athleticism. So it's nice that he's got a good base where it's not like, oh, when he fills out, he's going to be the slowest human in the world and you're not going to be able to do anything with him. Like, there's still a chance he plays the outfield, which he's doing right now. And they don't have to move him to first. I still think that will happen at some point just because he's so big. But it's good to see him playing decent enough in the outfield at the moment. He's made some mistakes, but that's not surprising. This is a guy who played mainly first base last year. It was good to hear Liam Carroll talk about him very positively. He's excited to see him. It would be so much fun to get to see Justin Gonzalez for a couple weeks in Greenville at the end of the year. Give me 18-year-old Justin Gonzalez hitting absolute nukes off the apartment buildings at Floor Field. just for a couple weeks, just as a teaser for next season. And then maybe next season we only get to see him there for a couple weeks. I don't know. I'm absurdly high on Justin Gonzalez. I know apparently Ian Kundle wasn't super excited about him. He saw him live. But I think that was also like right before Justin Gonzalez really started to hit the ball hard, very consistently. And I would not be shocked if he becomes like a top 5 prospect in the system at some point next year. I think that the sky's the limit for him. I know there are some concerns again, like with the size, but he's got such a good eye. He hits the ball ridiculously hard, and the athleticism for his size isn't bad. So I'm holding out hope for. I shouldn't say holding out hope because obviously Justin Gonzalez is viewed very positively. But I see a world where he becomes just a absolute freak for the Red Sox.
It's funny you brought up, we were talking about Yoenis Cespedes, and the first thing that popped into my head in terms of second basemen that are super tall, but a little bit, like, at least listed weight-wise bigger. First thing that popped in my head was like, oh, Dan Uggla. Dude was really good for a while there with the Marlins.
Hit nukes for a while, man.
Also, too, he was after he went to Atlanta, that 2012 Braves team. I dare you to go, anyone to go look at the position players on that team and go look at their B wars, especially the outfielders, because they had 5 outfielders with a 5 B war or higher. One of them was Martin Prado. Shout out. One of the random players that I seem to always like for no particular reason.
Not to bring it back to video games, but one of the old 2Ks, Dan Uggla had, I believe, 89 power against righties and lefties. And he hit like he had 150 power. He was a cheat code in that game. Like every sports game, there's always a guy, I think it's most prevalent with NBA 2K. There's always like a Gerald Green or J.R. Smith or someone who's like not that good, who just absolutely cooks. And it was always Dan Uggla in baseball. Like, don't get me wrong, he was really good in real life. He had.
Yes.
I'm looking at his numbers right now. In 2007, he had 49 doubles, 31 homers. He had 5 straight seasons with over 30 homers. But like 89 power, it was like 60 contact, 89 power. And he just like, I'm not even saying on your team. Like if you were going against him in a series, he was going to hit like at least 2 homers against you.
I used to always get shit on by Tyler Flowers.
Oh, I loved Tyler Flowers.
I hated him because I swear to God he was a lock to hit a homer in every game. I loved
Tyler Flowers, White Sox catcher, legend.
He used to always hit a homer off. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be straight up. I could pitch a no hitter, and then in the 7th, I could pitch a no hitter, and then like the 6th inning, Tyler Flowers would come up and hit a homer. I'd be like, dude.
I threw so many no-hitters and perfect games with Tim Lincecum in those games. He was so good. I loved Tim Lincecum so much.
Yeah. Also, everyone just go look at the 2012 Braves team. Even some of their the pitches that was kind of miserable, but hey, Craig Kimbrell in the bullpen. Brian McCann and David Ross are their 2 catchers.
I couldn't stand Brian McCann.
He was one of those big
Freddie
Freeman. 22-year-old Jason Hayward, 22-year-old Andrelton Simmons made his debut that year.
That's cool.
Dan Uggla, 40-year-old Chipper Jones, Martin Prado, and Michael Bourne were their other 2 outfielders. An absurd, Mike Minor at 24 made 30 starts for them. 36-year-old Tim Hudson. Brandon Beachy had a 2 ERA and 81 innings for them. Brandon Beachy.
Oh, okay.
Just random, right? Like Jair Jurens.
I loved Jair Jurens.
But that's a fun name. Like old man Levon Hernandez was not that good. Julio Teheran made his debut.
Cool.
That year, I think. For a bunch of fun names. 24-year-old Kimbrell, and then the rotation 31 starts for Tommy Hansen and 22-year-old Randall Delgado at a 4.37 ERA and 18 appearances, 17 starts, and a negative .2 B WAR. And 30-year-old, just random name, Paul Mahone, who had a 3.54 ERA, but back then, 3.54 ERA was kind of just middle of the road. It was middle of the road. He had a .4 B WAR and 68 and 2/3 innings of a 3.54 ERA. It was just 0.4 BWAR. Tommy Hansen had 174 and 2/3 innings at a 4.48 ERA, and he had a negative 0.9 BWAR. Now, if you have a 4.48 ERA in that many innings, you have like a 1.5. How the game's changed.
The only other people I had hitting wise, obviously we already kind of touched on D'Angelo Ortiz. 2 for 11 with a walk in his first week, nothing special, but he did reach base in all 3 games he appeared in. He went 1 for 4, 1 for 4, and then 0 for 3 with a walk. And then Nathaniel Yu-10, 10-game hitting streak. He's up to a 267 average, 404 slugging percentage, 14 doubles, 5 triples, 3 homers, 31 RBI, 33 runs scored, 7 steals. Another guy who I could see getting promoted to Greenville by the end of the year, especially. A lot of it's going to depend on the trade deadline. I know we've mentioned it a ton, but we're more than likely going to see people traded in the higher levels, maybe some in the lower levels too. But then that'll have the ripple effect of, all right, well, now we need people to move up from high A to double A to triple A, single A to high A. FCI, obviously the FCL season's over, but extended spring training, whatever, from Fort Myers to single A, we'll see
whatever they want.
We'll see a lot of movement in the next 5 days. And U10, someone he spent all last year in single A. He's been there all year this year, and he's putting up really solid numbers. So I think he'll move up at some point before the end of the year.
Yeah. Also, we're over the 2-hour mark. Hi, Jake. We're over the 2-hour mark. Another thing when we first started the show, Jake was the one who was like, an hour, like an hour and a half, no more than 2 hours, and we're over 2 hours every week anyways. I thought that was fun stuff. Figured, that was funny. We're over 2 hours again. Whoop-dee. That Braves thing was literally just to get us over 2 hours, just so I could say hi to Jake.
I think we would have hit it anyway.
We probably would have, but pitching. Yoiker Fajardo, 5 1/3, 5 hits, no runs, just 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Shout out to the Yoikster. I'm not going to say we're the ones who found him, because clearly we're not scouts or anything, but you know what? Sometimes having a cool name is all it takes. And Yoiker Fajardo has a cool-ass name.
And the 5 1/3 was longest outing of the year for him. He's been really good, 2.58 ERA, 227 batting average against 115 whip between FCL and single A. Struggled a little bit the first few outings in single A, but he's looked really good. The last, I think like 3 outings have been solid for him. I think it was like 5 innings, 4 innings, 5 1/3. 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. And then this week was 5 1/3, 5 no runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. So very clearly he's figured things out. The ERA has dropped from 9.58 to 4.38 in single A over those 3 outings. I think we're just going to continue to see impressive games. Maybe he gives up a couple runs here or there, but clearly he's gotten comfortable. He's adjusted to the level. That's a jump that probably doesn't get talked about enough, is going from FCL to single A. Like that really is a big jump. You see guys sit in the DSL or the FCL for a couple of years sometimes and just never get out of there. And you're going up against literal kids. Not that
4 years in the DSL. Who was it last year? Who was it last year for Salem who had 4 years in the DSL?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because I remember at the beginning of the year, I'm like, he spent 4 years in the DSL, so like this, but like they didn't get rid of him. So like, is there something there? And I forget who it was. It's gonna bother me now.
And he was decent too.
Yes,
but I feel like he was a reliever.
22 he was. He was like 22 or 23 in Salem, but it's still hilarious. I'm gonna go try and figure that out now. Yeah, Yoiker has been very good. Yoiker has been very good. I know, obviously, like you said, there's kind of some struggles at the beginning of the year, but he Royman Blanco. I think that's gotta be it. Oh my! He was so old. He elected minor league free agency. You muted, Hunter. Oh, you've been muted, Hunter. You're muted on stream. Hunter's still muted. Hunter.
Dude, I unmuted. I swear I unmuted.
Did not unmute. You're muted that entire time. It's Royman Blanco, though.
Yeah, and that I said, yeah, that's 100% who it was. And I think the reason he was in the FCL for so long is because he had like 2 pitches, and they were probably trying to get a third pitch for him.
He was in the DSL for 4 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. And like, yeah, that's my point though. Is like a lot of these guys are going up against people who just aren't refined enough for affiliate baseball, or not that single A's old, but like you're going up against a lot of literal kids at those levels, like 16, 17-year-old kids. So it's not shocking that you're going to hit a big bump when you get to single A. I think that's a crazy underrated movement. And the other big outing this week was Jose Bayo made his single A debut. 3 2/3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen, 2 hits, only 1 strikeout, walked 2. Obviously, he's another guy who's going to get a lot of discussion surrounding him, as he was part of the Rafael Devers trade. And he's kind of I had someone ask me on Twitter after the game. They said, like, was there something the Red Sox saw in him? I think people were kind of held up on the fact that he was a 20-year-old in the FCL. Like, it's not like he was some 17-year-old going out there and dominating. Don't get me wrong. He was putting up very good numbers the last 2 seasons in the FCL. But like, quote unquote, older for that level. And I think it was more just a lottery ticket. Like, he was, I don't want to say a throw in into the trade, but for lack of better terms, a throw in of like, hey, this is a young pitcher who's performed really well in the FCL. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it was kind of one of those situations where it was like, hey, pick out of these 3, and the Red Sox picked Jose Bayo. I'm sure they saw something in him. I'm sure they scouted him beforehand. But I don't think it was anything crazy special. I think it was just, this is a guy with some promise that they hope that they could figure something out with. We saw it last year with the Red Sox. They gave up like 5 or 6 lottery tickets in trades. I can't think of all of them, but like Ovis Portes, Jefferson Vargas. There were a couple, just people who weren't.
I think he got traded last year, but
yeah,
because I know it was Vargas and Portes.
But yeah, they were again, for lack of better terms, like throw-ins in trades or enhancers, or like they're not going to be the big piece. And I think that's what Bayo was. Is it was more the Red Sox wanted Kyle Harrison, James Tibbs, and Jose Bayo was there, and they were like, sure, we'll also take him. So yeah, I don't think and obviously Jordan Hicks was in that trade too. I don't think there was any super specific reason they wanted Jose Bayo more than just they wanted a lottery ticket. They got the guys that they were more focused on. They got rid of the full contract, and they were like, sure, throw in a guy who maybe 2 years down the line we can talk about as like this legitimate, really exciting prospect in AA or high A or something. And if he turns into nothing, no fan is going to remember him because he was the low tier of the trade.
He's going to be the footnote to the
So it was very good to see him go out there and have a really good single A debut.
Yes. I did look up. I don't know what Royman Blanco is. There's nothing on his baseball reference page, but he was like tagged in a Instagram post about a team in Venezuela winning the championship in whatever league that I'm not even going to try and pronounce. And so it seems like he was a part of it potentially. And he's got a picture of it saying that he like of him holding the championship trophy, looks like, which looks, if you don't zoom in on it, I'm not gonna lie, kind of looks like a duck. It's I don't know if it's gonna focus, but like it's supposed to be a baseball player swinging a bat, but like you can't really see like the gap between the legs for whatever reason. So I don't know. It just looks like, I don't know. It looked kind of like a duck to me at first glance. I don't know. What happens? This is what happens when Jake's not here. This is what happens. We go off in all directions. I say a championship trophy looks like a duck, and hey, Roman Blanco is still playing, so shout out.
Good for him.
Good for him.
I liked him.
Yes, and he actually 3.75 ERA last year and 69. Nice, 69 2/3 innings. Nice, good for him. But yeah, he was DSL for 4 years and then FCL in 2023. So his fifth year was the FCL, and then he got 7 1/3 innings in Salem at the end at the end of that year, and then 2024 was Salem. So. Yeah, I remember because I'm like, he's been around for 5 years and has pitched in 4 games in affiliated ball. Clear, why haven't they not got rid of him yet? But he elected free agency, which is kind of hilarious that, low A and you're old enough to elect free agency. Kind of funny. But yeah, outside of that, on the pitching side, I think that's kind of it. I guess 2 scoreless outings for Jay Ulmer and a scoreless start for Joey Gatch. The 2 R's screw me up. Hate it. Joey Gartrell. The first R. I literally always miss the first R, and I do it every single time to myself. I go Gatchell. I'm like, oh, there's another R. Missed the first R. But he had. He had 4 innings, no runs, and Ulmer, between his 2 relief appearances, also had 4 innings and no runs. They had 5 strikeouts for Gatchell and 4 for Ulmer. So a couple of scoreless weeks there as well. I think that's kind of it for Salem. Did you have anything for FCL, DSL Hunter, or
literally just Dorian Soto?
There's here comes our FCL/DSL minute, aka the now DSL minute.
Soto went 11 for 24 this week, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs. He's up to a 355 batting average. I think it's technically a little bit lower because he went 1 for 3 today, and I don't think that they're counting that yet. But yeah, he's been absolutely phenomenal. Frustrating that obviously we're not going to see him in single A this year. I'm assuming he will start next year in the FCL. Maybe he gets something similar to the Justin Gonzalez treatment where they kind of just have him in extended spring training for a while, give him a couple games in the FCL and throw him into single A. But I am very excited to get to see him at some point. But yeah, the FCL season's over. And we are now kind of focusing just on DSL / hopefully getting news about some of the signees. Maybe some of them will be going into the system at some point. Most likely the hitters, maybe a couple of the pitchers that were drafted late. But it really doesn't seem like we're going to be getting, Kyson Witherspoon, Marcus Phillips, Anthony Ianson, even 8th, 9th inning guys or 8th, 9th round guys. I don't think we're seeing them either, but maybe we'll see some of the, 18, 17, 19 rounds. But who knows? It's just that at this point, we're kind of just waiting for the news of where they're starting, if they're starting, and what they're going to give us.
Well, there's your FCL/DSL. I literally don't have anything to add because I did not do anything. I did not look up anything for the FCL or DSL. But I also am excited for Dorian Soto. Hopefully next year we'll see him at some point. Hopefully we get some spring training video or something of some of the guys coming up from the DSL to the FCL too, so we can, it's not like we're going to get any real substance of anything from the DSL. So hopefully we can maybe get some stuff in spring training on some of them. And then once the FCL season starts, hopefully we'll, somewhat get if I wasn't 3.5 hours away from Fort Myers, I would have been gone to so many FCL games. But I ain't driving 3.5 hours one way just for some FCL games. That's a long drive, and then 3.5 hours back. No way. I wish. But yeah. Before we wrap up, I'll just kind of restate from the beginning of the episode. Jordan and I are doing a trade deadline live stream. That'll be on the 31st, the day of the trade deadline on Thursday. We're starting at 11 in the morning, and we are going through the deadline at 6. We'll probably honestly won't end until closer to 7. Last year, we went from the deadline was at 5 o'clock. We went from 10 to about 5:45. So I would expect, and the only reason we ended at 5:45 is we had the minor league show right after. We had a special edition of the minor league show right after. We don't have that in the plans this year, so unless that changes, we'll probably go from 11 probably till 7 even potentially. Maybe even a little bit longer depending on what potential wackiness happens. So make sure to tune into the live stream. And with that, we're going to sign off. So for Hunter, my name is Derek. And for Jake, who's not here, we miss you. Miss you, Jake. We are excited to have you back next week. Don't get lost. Please don't. Or taken. Please don't. It's not the movie. Not like the movie. Please don't. Please don't get taken. But yeah, with that, like I said, for Hunter, my name is Derek. As always, thanks for tuning in to the Pesky Report and the Minor League Show, and we will see you next time.